I'll move on. Supposed to go that way. Okay. Where one door closes. ... I found Luffy One Piece.
That is One Piece.
Found him. What's outside? I'm double moron. Screw it, I should just go back to my house. It's a boiled potato. I don't trust it. Scree! I'm a baby dragon! Scree!
You talking to Ashdaya? Scree!
So did Q finish the Miss Q?
Yes, I did too.
Does it give us any new information of substance?
Find substance.
What we're gonna be doing in this place you call a new world?
There's something about trees.
Yeah, I mean, it hammered home what we more or less knew, but gave some context behind it.
Well, old potato.
Gave-
Old potato.
Gave
Let's get out of
everyone's
here.
reasons for being involved.
Also, does the cat girl, I guess she's still kind of cat girl. Does the feral cat girl's face look as small in game as it did in the trailer?
No, it's not quite so bad.
Gee, I wonder if there's gonna be a cutscene on this bridge. Where is Arendelle?
Erenville!
Also, Talon, I might ask you a curse question, as in, after I finish the MSQ, do you want to run ashore a few times to hopefully get the card?
Yeah, I suppose there's no harm in that.
Apologies for the wait. I hope I haven't called you away from anything important. I chanced upon some commissioned items at my destination.
Where did you go?
Where did you go?
The New World. Tural.
I think you mean Tudulalu. Arendelle.
You went to
Tololololil.
Then the person who you wish to introduce.
I guess we should double check
Aye,
if there is
she
a
hails from
card.
there. I present to you...
I'm assuming there is.
But it seems you've lost.
Did she wander off?
You lost your woman, Aaronville. Respect her. Oh, there she is.
You know, I don't think he
Sorry,
does.
It's just so different here.
I get the
can't
distinct
help but want to
impression that there's no
explore.
respect there.
Well, while you were exploring, your candidate came to us. This is her, the adventurer you crossed the seas to meet.
Superior
Ooh, you weren't
Omicron vehicle
exaggerating.
win,
It's
artillery
plain
may
she's
be
no ordinary
involved.
woman.
They had to
I'm
record
Muklamat,
two
Clement
versions
Trifon
of that
to
line.
Nicola.
Line or woman or man. Tuliol.
Tuli Yolol.
Tuliol.
It's Tural's governing nation. The capital bears the same name.
I'll get to the point. I want you to come with me to my homeland.
Given the magnitude of the request, perhaps.
Of course, of course. Soon, an
Engaging
event of great
enthusiasm
import will be held in
protocols.
Tural. The right of succession.
That's not
taking the
allowed.
form of a
Abort,
contest.
abort,
It will
kill,
determine who next
process,
ascends the throne.
shut it down.
As daughter to its present keeper, I will participate. And I have every intention of winning. I was searching for champions to join me when Aaronville told me about you. A mighty warrior who knows no fear, who sweeps aside terrible fiends as if they were reeds.
She asked who Eorzea's greatest hero was, and so I told her. Much more elegantly, I might add.
Now you know why. You'll come to Tural, yes?
Wait, let's all just slow down. Wuklamat, was it? You claim to be of the royal family.
Tulihyolal is a nation of many peoples. Not only the Mamulsha, as some across the seas are quick to... That said, its present ruler is a Mamulsha. He's also my father. Not by blood.
Wait, is this going to be an actual
obviously.
thing?
Okay,
He
she's
raised me as his
related.
own.
Okay, I was
And
wondering
that's what matters.
what her relation to Theos. Adopted by a two-headed
yes.
lizard. Alright,
So that
this
is
makes a
the
little
way
more
of it.
sense. That's fine. Sure, we'll help nepotism win.
Hardly. I know little about your land.
To be fair, I
and
think
nothing about your
everyone
parentage.
might be his kids.
But in my eagerness, I've gotten ahead of myself.
That's One
I
Piece
can't
reference.
expect you to agree on this spot.
Is it?
Yeah,
If you have any questions,
Whitebeard
I'll do my
considers
best
all
to
of
answer
his
them.
pirates
Just
as
know, though,
just
that
kitties.
if it's adventure you seek, you could do far worse than come with me. Now, this,
The City of Gold.
but apparently, the contest will involve the
Oh, no.
fabled city
Oh yeah, no,
of
okay,
gold
City of Gold.
and the legendary beast, Valyarmanda. Tell me that doesn't pique.
It's closer.
So the tales have reached even these shores.
Technically, I heard about the City of Gold
I
from
advise you not to put much store
an
by these
ancient
rumors.
weirdo.
Yeah,
Says
well,
the
I didn't-
dreamer
I didn't
who was
let
bent
that-
on
didn't let
finding
that
one
stop
when he
me.
was a child.
From beyond
because
time
you
and
feel-
space.
At that point, he wasn't from beyond time and space. He was
Tuliol
just
and the
in
Golden
time and
City.
space.
Just like in the letter to Gran.
Regardless of what the contest may entail.
Oh, do you think one of
no
the
simple
other
thing. If I'm to triumph,
one of the other claimants is going to be
capable
the person who
and
wrote the letter?
dependable.
Is that how we
let's
get
see
split
them
up?
work
It's
together.
likely.
There's no better way to get a
Or rather, it seems likely. Yeah, there's a bonus scene where I'm guessing that is absolutely the case. Or rather, not Creel's letter. I don't know about Creel's letter.
Well, it was to her
But I
grandpa.
think that might be lit.
It's not her
Yes.
letter. She found it in the,
it's an old
in
letter.
the junk
It's
drawer.
an old letter to Creel's grandpa.
I just checked. There's a fish coming up in 3 minutes. I might go try to catch it. If I'm gonna play 14, I gotta play it efficiently. Get it? If fish! Fish!
Dave, do your efficient robots approve of this?
A fish?
Of his fish pond?
It's
Is it-
sufficiently smelly.
Sufficiently. Okay. They've made a fish pond.
Yes, I realize.
Fairy fish parents! Okay, now I gotta see if I have the right bait, if I have to buy it. 'Cause this is... Okay, I do. Excellent, excellent. It's just
don't
on
get
my
off the
routine.
pleasure tuna.
I will now proceed to pleasure myself with this tuna. Mode of the AI. This fish is nice because it is just rare. I like it when they are just rare. Horizon event is a 2-star.
Ilya's behind this, don't think, just imagine.
True. A journey. Promises we made so long ago. Peers. To old eternal seas. Okay, this is the one I want to slap. Yeah, okay, that was a slap. Thought I clicked the wrong button. Beneath the heavens. The storm. I feel like after going for the Bofa, I'm like looking at the chance of catching this fish, and I'm like, pretty good odds. I get to try every 30 seconds, and the drop rates, or the hit rates, 1%. It's pretty good odds. I've been hoodwinked by myself. Oh, whoops! I forgot to chum. In the dark, you will not try. I get to listen to some Christian rock, 14 style, while I do it.
Same.
What did Wooklamat send you to the Ultimate Duel?
No, I'm doing the V-Stripe wrap-up.
Oh.
If this actually lets me do the thing, it will be pretty darn fun, too.
This guy wants to do the bun dance.
It's just gonna be a cutscene.
Cufflink.
Cutscene.
Fed's getting cufflinks from his buddies.
I don't think this game can handle cufflinks.
If they're part of an individual outfit, they can handle. But under no other circumstances.
Yeah, pretty much.
A river of tears. Tell me, Talon, why do they reeve the tears?
Good question.
Also, some of these new fish look mega cring. I guess it's... No, wait, that is cringe. One has... Oh man, that's so bad. One has an intuition buff, but the intuition buff needs like 2 different mooched fish and 2 of another fish. Have its own weather requirement. I just have a guess that this sidereal whale is going to be the to-get fish of this expansion.
Been freaking Smash over here.
Super Smash Brothers. I still need to do the elephant final quest. Screw those guys. Wear clothes.
Everyone, prepare. Thank you, Rala.
I sure would like to get this fish this window so I can cross some of the old fish off the old list.
Yeah, probably doesn't hurt.
Oh, you know what? Maybe this is gonna be the Ruby Dragon, actually. I just checked, like, needs 12 Basilsauruses, but I think another fish needs those too. Yeah, Basilsaurus Rex. Very interesting. We got a bait. Pack it up, pack it in, let me begin. I came to win, fish up me. That's a sin. Did I already have this fish and didn't mark it? Or am I... Did I miss the pop-up? I guess we're about to find out. How embarrassing if I had it and didn't mark it. She does not have my fish. She has my fish. How embarrassing, I did already have it. Alright, back to this game. Alright, I found the big fish spreadsheet for this fish. The only one we know about is moon dust, fair skies for Lopoceris elegans. Moondust to fair skies in 48 minutes. Okay, well, that's a new fish I get to try for. Bow, ba-da-bow, bow, bow. Ham. I actually have any of those fish? Or any of those baits? Not many.
Be back in a minute.
Oops. Sure, this won't take 40 minutes.
From here, we...
So much. Ooh, a white bear. I wonder what it tastes like.
Remember, we're here to deal with creatures that have been deemed an
I know. So this is the isle where Ether li-
Aye, the Isle of Ham.
You really are knowledgeable. Conant.
I doubt your brother managed to come out this way. He's like to have toured facilities like...
The great big cavern under the city. It's a...
This brother of yours.
He has. Conan's my second older brother. And... he went on and on about technological amusements. And so I did. I think...
He went to the studio. But I wonder, like you, he'd be royalty.
He consulted with the head of the studium before. Being Mikote, he had no trouble blending in. One time, though, he almost let it slip to...
You're having no shortage.
Ask whatever you like. I don't mind.
The researchers should be up at...
That's why there's a cat boy on my poster.
She's got a cat boy brother.
And he's probably a character we met before? He looked very familiar
researchers should
from
be
somebody,
just ahead.
so some sort of side quest.
There! The building to the northeast.
So ordinarily harmless creatures have grown savage.
So am I gonna end up doing the whole dungeon just
Don't know what's got them riled up, but I'll take down any that thinks to try me.
Now, now.
Right, let's hunt our fill.
Like, I have 40 minutes before my freaking pizza timer goes off for my precious fish.
Look! Someone's in trouble!
Yeah, taste my axe.
Excuse me? Taste my what?
These animals are usually so docile.
What'd she
Why
say?
is she so lewd? Taste my ass!
Okay, I believe she said. I don't think she said anything inappropriate there.
It sure sounded like she did. So I'm gonna choose to believe. I'm gonna choose to believe in the ham caraboos. She's just a normal warrior.
You really are famous.
And for good reason, as you'll soon see for yourself.
You can already see it. See how fast I melt those mobs. I'm famous for many reasons. I'm just pure skill.
Quite an interesting contraption you've got here.
Is that our petitioner? Let's go and have a chat.
I'll handle this. Hold still.
Oh, she killed them all. Excuse me, those were my prey.
Is that all? Come on, let's pick up the creature's trail. These claw marks. I've seen their like before.
Oh, good idea.
It's starting to feel like a proper hunt.
Ballroom etiquette, the lop pop.
You would.
That
Birdie.
means everyone gets to wiggle their butt at people.
Feathers.
Yes.
But did they belong to the predator or the prey?
Something.
So, how do you prefer our prey? Roasted or raw?
Okay, I get it, you're
You
furry.
presume it's even safe to eat?
Stop talking about how raw you like it.
Whoa.
What you guys said? Do you like to be roasted or raw?
Still fresh. Whatever this beast, it cannot be far.
Ham. There's a ham troll in the dungeon!
Do you suppose they're upset we disturbed their home?
Oh, the boss event is pretty good also. Just design-wise.
Who
Decent
knows?
joy.
If they're spoiling for a fight, then they've got one.
Let's head back and report what we found.
I can't jump this ledge. Freaking geometry. Where's she going? Where are you going? Get back here.
Powerful wings.
Oh my gosh, it's a freaking toucan. But Taro toucan.
Welcome to Monster Hunter.
It speaks?
What is that thing? What is that thing? It's mocking her. It's like the SpongeBob voice.
It's heading toward.
I'll stay with the researcher.
Aye aye, Aaron Fest. We'll
Come
save
on.
the we'll save the duchy.
Right.
Town, what if we try to help her become Zet, but we become Zet? This isn't your
Just
boss
so we're clear,
arena.
Forgive me, but I failed.
This
It is
is
now.
this is the first boss arena.
That's the second boss arena.
Oh, true.
Think you're clever, huh?
He's gonna spit roast this bird. Stop talking in these weird metaphors. And I'm gonna tank it facing away from the
I'm
ring.
going to have the last laugh. Oh, I'm going to enjoy sinking my teeth
Sinking
into
my
you.
teeth into you. This is way too charged. She needs to calm it down.
Ah, shut up already, you blasted bird!
Imagine getting hit by a tank buster.
Couldn't be me.
Me either.
What are you, a ninja? Did you cast your semi?
I cast being
I've
invincible.
never seen such an enormous colibri.
I cast not being a tank.
Not good. Quickly, gather together.
A shipping cream kind of fit in.
I'm sticky in my
There we go.
burst window.
I've got you.
How's it feel to be all sticky?
No.
That was
No.
too close.
Unacceptable.
Steady now.
I'm a burst.
Spread out, everyone.
Yeah, get the frick out of here, Wook. Wookie. Oh,
Pay for that.
I'm fettered. Talon just liked it because there was an active time maneuver for the first time in 8 years. Oh! I have to free them. Free the soul.
Yeah, you do have to read them.
Thank you.
Oh, we can't target the bird. Thank you for showing me. Thought I went untargetable there. Oh gee, now our objective is to defeat the giant colibri? I wasn't sure. Alright, how many times did you get hit by these circles, Talon? Be honest.
I don't think I got hit by any of them.
I don't believe you. Don't believe Talon's lies. What the heck? Is this bird a dragon?
I don't remember it breathing fire.
No, the left wing, right wing thing.
That was hardly a
Oh
tickle.
yeah.
Try this. Yeah, nothing to
Okay,
it.
Dave's gonna be excited by that new warrior skill we get next expansion.
We have you now, you love
AoE,
bastard.
Primal Rend.
Assuming that's what that is. Yeah.
That's definitely what it was. I mean,
Never
their
really played
AoE's
Primal Rend.
probably due for a refresh. Cause there's only the one. There's nothing you get during Berserk, right? That's AoE. That's special.
You're out your AoE. You're not Fell Cleave AoE, I
had
believe
barely
upgrades,
limbered
isn't
up.
it?
Correct.
They both
Oh.
have upgrade.
She was
He
scared.
was a terrible foe, but no match for your axe.
Oh, only to... You were pretty impressive yourself.
It's
What
Breakers
a
right
curious
behind
that
you.
was. Though we have similar in Tural, they don't grow so big or use such dirty tricks.
Dirty tricks, dirty tricks.
Well, I mean, Primal Ren's already AoE.
Is it?
Yeah.
I didn't think so. Or Felcleave, I mean.
Felcleave
Well,
is
she did
not
a-
AoE.
the
She
big
did a
one.
really fancy Primal Ren
Leave this to
animation.
me.
I think it was fancier than normal.
Creel, when did you get
I
that?
don't know I don't know what to make of it.
When you say Primal Ren, you're talking about the jump in the air, do flips, and attack, right?
Yeah, she turned
Okay,
into a giant, basically turned into a big buzzsaw.
Cryle.
How long have you been a Pictomancer, Cryle?
I am
When were you
terribly,
planning to tell
terribly
us?
sorry to have kept you.
What? Don't worry about it.
I'm worried about it.
She arrived as I was seeing the researchers.
Even
to
though a lot
safety.
of this is, and you were going to tell us this when? Yeah, I don't feel like going
So
to Hawkeye
this is
Manor,
what you
so
meant by-
I'm gonna buy these.
After hearing of the contest, I thought... In coming here, I wanted to demonstrate my skill at arms to Wooklamat.
Okay, I don't think being a Pictomancer demonstrates skill at arms.
That was amazing.
I'm glad to have been of service.
It demonstrates
ask
skill at
what
being
inspired this
Xanadu.
change?
Yeah, skill and painting finesse.
You will
Artistry.
recall the time you descended to the ethereals. Recognizing that my skills were... It was the same when you set forth for Ultima Thule. That's what inspired this change. Ever since the... As you all have adapted your methods to suit the circumstances, I started by considering... And after much deliberation... With the esoteric art passed down by the legendary Archon realm,
It was
Pictomancy.
invented by Realm. Very
Yep.
curious.
The
As
Pictomancer
I
Archon
recall,
realm.
you have embraced
Inventor of
versatility to
Pictomancy.
effectively complement a certain
Are they going to be
What I do
Pictomons?
is much the same. Like,
Cryle is Pictomon.
I'm getting the ball, Cryle.
Indeed. I must say, you appear to be especially...
yes, there is. It was addressed to my grandfather Galuf and turned up among the students' archives.
Yes, I was invited to Super Smash
The ink was
Brothers.
faded, so I couldn't fully make out the...
Jaja. Gulul Jaja.
Okay,
That's my father.
generations.
What does the letter say?
While much of it isn't legible, it...
A request to investigate the Golden City.
Well, well. See,
Being a member of the royal family,
I can say for a fact that my father didn't write this. Given how culturally diverse Toliyolal is, but instead of elevating an existing tongue and its speakers above all others, we look to those widely spoken overseas and the similarities to your common tongue. This letter, however, is entirely in Eorzean. If father had written this, what's more, it bears a wax seal. We don't bother with them.
so the letter is fraudulent.
Oh, I didn't mean to say that. My father's signature is genuine, as far as I can tell.
I see. Oh, thank you for the confirmation. It seems my grandfather indeed had dealings with Tuli Yolal. I can't help but be curious as to what exactly he was doing there. In order to help us decide on a course of action, would you mind if I asked you some questions about...
By all means. After all, learning about one another was the We can talk while feasting on this fellow.
I do not want to eat the parrot. I don't think parrot meat would be particularly delicious.
We're...
Graha would rather eat Attacka.
Alright, now my new trophy is on display.
This guy stole a bunny's head and mounted it to his wall or something?
Yeah.
Weird.
Oh gosh, this is gonna become the new Limsa dance.
Yes.
Come. Let's... I'd heard that Charlotte...
What is this?
Oh, come now. Since when did you become so soft?
That lion girl, we killed her.
According to Dickon, intensely hot dishes have become popular in Razadhan after... So he started offering the same in order to please the growing...
It's nothing.
Your boorish manners reflect...
I swear, sometimes it feels like you are...
Would I be correct in assuming?
Oh, is Aaronville a prince as well or something?
I beg to differ. She is a long-standing
I don't
acquaintance.
think so, but I don't know.
Seems entirely possible. Maybe
I
he's
see.
a butler.
All this time you were from Taral.
That could be.
Oh, what?
You and everyone else. I've kept it quiet so as to avoid the end.
Well, no, I think
Well,
he's
if
just
he's going to be a miser,
Or he could be
He's
from
vaguely-
Solution 9. Still.
possible. He seems
Since
well. He
ancient
knows
times,
her well enough to have
many
been
peoples
childhood
have called
friends.
Taral
Question
home.
mark.
Yeah, but if
And
he's
they've
from
been fighting
Solution
each
9
other
from
for
that short
nearly as
story
long.
about him, he was just sent out to learn what's going on out there.
That's possible.
The fighting finally stopped some 80 years ago, when the reigning Dawn Servant
This
unified...
might also explain the whole Golden City thing.
And that's how Tuliolal came to...
It's only 80 years old. What the heck?
Since then, we've enjoyed an era of... But my father is getting old, and he wishes to relinquish the throne to a worthy successor. Including myself, there are 4 claimants to the throne. But what...
Evil
A
Prince.
man who is too
Xenos.
Word of the Garlean Empire's collapse has reached Taral. While most are simply relieved, he sees weakness to exploit and would lead our armies.
After everything my father has done to give us peace, can't allow it. No matter what, I must.
I understand your reasons, but this being an event that will dictate...
Oh, it's more than appropriate. The Dawn Servant himself expressed... The ruler of Tural must navigate the intricacies of myriad cultures, and there's no... That's why I sought you out, through our hunt. And so I ask you.
Sure. Imperialism is great.
You don't need to decide right this moment. But I will need you if I'm to triumph over the competition.
In that case, allow us to prepare a room for you at the Baldessian Annex.
That's very kind of you. Oh, and one more thing. Once we finish eating, would...
I want the meat.
Haha, I'm a feral cat lady.
I
Yeah,
hope
one
we
card
got a
from
card.
Gilded Saucer and one from Gilded Aria.
Lightfire Uchiha.card.co. How long do I have before Fish? 18 minutes? Yeah. Probably start up this quest.
Alright, I think I'm gonna go to bed.
See
Good
ya.
night, Dave.
Good night, guys.
How can Papodos have been from the New World if Papodos were here? Explain that.
Oh, I have a new appreciation for Rapotos.
There's another fish available right now. What the heck?
Fishy, 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 fish.
Did you know blue magic is from the New World? The frick? Who knew that?
Oh my god.
With magic like this, who needs magic? Alright, let's go buy some more of these baits. Great bait meat. Frick, frick, frick. Huh? You can't buy Chimera Worm? Or somebody bought out the whole bank? What the frick? This is bad.
Someone ready to fish. And it's not you.
I need a world hop. Balmung will have my fish. And many other goods besides. There we go. Alright. Cheap price too. Nice. Alright, to the moon. Or I guess I will go back to our server first. Now to the moon. There's a Popoto here fishing. We will have this.
You're the Popoto there fishing?
No, there's another one. Yura Hatsuki.
Popoto? Close relation to Miku Hatsune?
Hatsuki. Different name.
Yes.
That's a different name!
Around.
It's a different guy! Oh, there's a hunt train going on. I see. Doesn't get it at all. So you can't mooch chain off this one either, that kinda sucks.
Oi!
Well.
I
I'm
wondered
fishing.
when you'd be back.
Gone fishing.
Did you do MSQ, Evan?
I've done most of it. I'm researching the new world. Did you know blue mages come from the new world?
Were you sold by the story hug?
I mean, not necessarily. We'll have to see. I mean, there's gonna be more to it than,
Yeah,
than
yeah.
that.
I just think it's like a bad. I think that the story will be fine. I just think it's like a weird way to start it.
I'm figuring at least the Solution 9 stuff will be fine. I'm still not really sold on this whole succession thing, but whatever.
But what do you call the new world?
Accurate.
I can't
are
wait.
you Clamat's voice actor?
I'm not afraid. I don't think she's gonna win this succession. She's not gonna succeed. She's gonna
I think
suck.
it's not gonna be her either. I think it's gonna be someone like the third person. The
That'd
one
be
that neither
fine.
group is supporting.
That'd be fine unless it means she joins our party, in which case I refuse.
I got bad news for you, Bucko.
Do not want.
Sporto. There's a hunt train in my fishing. It's very distracting. Very focused. What am I doing? I need a patience. Have patience, Ivan. I want to inspect this potato, but I'm fishing.
I'm also fishing.
I don't believe you.
Or a good proc. Well, I'll just use this.
Moochin, moochin, moochin. Keep those fishies moochin. I had to go to Balmung to buy bait. It was literally all sold out.
That's crazy.
Yeah, but the Balmung bait was like way cheaper than any of the prices on our market board in history. Or the history I could see.
Also crazy. Talon, remember when I said I got easy 2 procs? I lied. I got easy 3 procs.
Are you doing
But I
expert
also
crafting?
the first two experts I did, I got 0. Because I was paying attention to that.
What strategies are you using?
I looked at the Icy Winds. No, Icy Veins? I don't know what it's called. Some website.
Yeah,
I
I
read
see
their
veins.
guide. Yeah, I read their guide and then did that. I'm debating if I want to like switch specialists as I go.
It's only 30 stats.
That's true. But the CP.
Oh, so Icy Veins, that's a WoW site.
I mean, I think in more recent times they've branched a bit.
I can't imagine why.
I think I'm going to be using lots and lots of food though, unfortunately.
Some nice Tsai to Vanu.
I'm using Jinga Biryani.
Is that
Homemade.
the latest food?
Yeah.
Food. Yeah.
Do you
I
really
caught the
need
shrimp
it?
myself. Oh, it's nice. I'm hitting pretty, I would say like 3 out of 4, 3 procs, so.
How many total crafts do you need to do? 30?
30.
20 if you get everything for 3, but... Apparently I need to look up a guide because I wasn't getting any 3s.
Skill issue.
Might be. To be fair, I have never expert crafted before, so...
Neither have I.
Yeah, but you looked up a guide. Well, I apparently need to look up a guide.
I think one thing is like you don't do all one thing and then all another thing, because that would waste procs. At least that's vaguely what I remember. It's been a long time.
I can understand that.
But a lot of people say just macro it Ligma.
Yeah, I could see macroing and getting it in like 30 crafts probably.
Okay, well, I don't think I'm getting Fish 1. But I might get Fish 2, the sequel to Fish.
When are you getting your egg?
Never, apparently.
When's the next egg?
Several days, 3 days, I think. It's Friday night.
Last Friday night.
Friday night, and I'm feeling egg.
Yeah,
It is
pretty
Friday
well
at
scheduled raid
11:30.
right then.
I saw the dire tweet Tristan made, beseeching Genshin Impact and the president to help Prinny feel better.
Why did he add the FBI though?
Why?
Yeah, he should have.
I think he probably.
Because he's
Why would the-
doesn't
Yeah, he doesn't know what the FBI
would help.
are.
Fine, at the Mounties.
Well, that's weird. They're gonna rerun the Iraha event.
The what?
Samurai girl from FF11. Her name was Iraha.
The what?
It's FF11 girl with a spear and armor came over. And she did a quest and you got her glamour armor or whatever.
The what?
Oh, what?
Nikki Haley says the U.S. has never been a racist country. True and real.
True.
True. True.
I think if here's my hot take. I think if she somehow beats Trump in the polls or in the primary, she'll beat Joe Biden easy
Why?
because she's a woman and a Republican.
Do you think Republicans care about voting in the female president?
No, but nobody likes Joe Biden. His approval rating is below George
but
Bush was.
Nobody likes
During
Nikki
9/11.
Haley.
Yeah, but more people can hold their nose and vote for a woman than they can vote for Donald Trump.
Yes, but I don't know. I think I don't like Biden that much either, but like it's fine.
Do we have a normal president?
No. He
What
must be
Biden
either
do to
dead
piss
or
everyone
racist.
off?
Dead
Be
or
a dead
racist. That is
Or
true. He could be both.
Oh, I'm stupid. Oh, damn it. Well, I don't think it's gonna take a big hit to my CP.
Alright, one last mooch. from the new weld. And then we gotta prepare for the next fish. Alright, you've heard about fish, but what about next fish? Alright, I slap at a fish.
Oh no, I fucked up. Oh no, I don't know how to count. Shit. Well, I'll still get a 1, but that's annoying. I pushed observe 1 too many times.
Cringe.
Oh yeah, part of the strategy is to observe. That's something I have not done.
We can save this.
How cute, that potato thinks the collector's glove strat actually does something still.
We got it to a 2 fair. So the basic strat. Oh, hold on. Here, I'll show you.
I mean, yeah, I can look it up too.
No. Only
I am
watch.
capable. I am capable of finding things on the
No,
internet.
no read, no read.
And Icy Veins really likes coming up in Google searches, so.
True. It would be very funny if, what's it called? If Trained Eye worked for relic weapons. Or for experts. Except the ability says can't be used for experts. But it would be funny if it could.
It'd be really funny if the skill didn't say that it couldn't be used for this thing.
I'm laughing. I'm laughing with so many F's! Only 1 hour left until I die.
Not green, it is green. Easy.
Oh, I need 3,300 gathering. Uh-oh.
What?
How am I gonna get more gathering skill? Guess I get overmeld. Shift into maximum overmeld.
Get some food, Bellowell.
Ah, it does say my gathering rating is insufficient. Well, that's unfortunate. I caught the fish. God dang it. Alright, I will inspect this potato.
Correct.
That's not good. Alright, well let's buy some gathering materia.
If only fishing had a proper offhand. I guess then the stats would just be higher, but...
Do I have any in my saddlebag? Might have sold it all. Well, at least I know now. And I'll never see that fish again.
Never. A lot of clients.
It's not actually going to be easy to get 3,300 gathering from gear load. Dawn's been abducted.
Help me!
No.
Well, that's all. That answers that. Okay, this is actually not as bad as I thought it would be. You just have to like pay attention, which is fine. Better D's, how about? There we go. No procs for me, I guess. There we go.
Oh, come on. I'm whiffing here. I'm paying for somebody's second mortgage. Are you serious?
This Craffle's going quite poorly, so it's a good thing I only need a 1.
What's wrong now?
Can't meld.
Can't meld.
I've burnt 100 materia on this last slot. There we go.
Ooh.
Alright, I'm 26 away. What's easy pickings here? My entire left side is like done. But on my right side is least done. Rings. Wait, do we have... Should I have better jewelry than this? Yeah, we have 620s. I'm cringe.
True.
This guy never updated all his gear.
I mean, I have it. That's the cringe part.
Yeah, I'm guessing he just didn't like meld it or something,
Yeah.
or put it on.
Put it on.
$32.99. Oh, whoops. Frick. That's as much as I can overmeld on that.
See what this looks like.
Okay.
Ugly. The Rantic Saw is ugly. Alright, now to go. Mine for thing I need. By mine I mean bot. Bot? Oh, I already have all of them. Because I'm a genius. how much harder this one's gonna be. Find out. Oh, you need 1600 to get a 3? Yikes. That's probably less. What is primed?
You need the bar to turn yellow.
X status granted. Action will allow.
Are you looking at like the next tier of thing?
No, I'm just doing it. What? What do you mean?
I didn't. You said you need 1600 to do a thing, but you already had. Like you've already been doing it, so I don't understand.
Q is not a clever man. That's what you need to understand.
No, you need 1500 to do thing. To get quality.
Okay, but you said 1600 before, or a second ago.
Yeah, for old thing, but for new thing you need more. Sorry, I can't talk right now. My brain is too busy dying. Increases to progress and report.
That implies it was ever alive.
Yes.
Anyone else wasting money? Wait, why am I not on the island? Hold on. I'm so freaking dumb.
Also, why aren't you swapping the rest of your jewelry while you're at it?
Because I don't need to. It's too much melding.
You have the island. There's free melds.
Yeah, well, I just wasted a bunch of money, so there's that.
Skill issue.
Yeah, you're not wrong. $33.11. I'm the greatest.
Hello. How did I fuck that up? Oh no.
Jesus Christ, never looking great. God.
There, I melded my jewelry for you, just for you, Talon.
Thank you. Now fish will come to you.
Now I need to figure out how to make some money back by selling things such as Materius.
I have engaged in some material selling in my days. Yeah, I think I have a bunch of material that never sold. I think people ruined my markets. Oh, markets looks like it's getting better. We should drop our prices to match.
Oh, Gatherer's Grasps are really expensive.
Tell me more. Oh, I think I sold all my gathering material already.
You know, it'd be nice if I could buy baits with these things. But you can't. I am gonna buy 99 GP material and sell it slowly over time. So I think it'll make money. I think. Most of the 9s are around, looks like 6,000 each, but right now GP is like 8,000. For a pittance of calories! Was I totally done over-melding everything? Yes, except for offhands. How important is it to meld your offhands for these crafting relics? Probably not very.
I only have
I
one,
melded mine.
one thing over-melded. Like, I've only got one over-melded material for my offense.
Oh. I'm not gonna meld my offhands.
I fully melded all of my offhands because I am a crazy person.
Yeah. Offhands are cringe because you don't share them. And main hands you don't need to meld because they're cheap. It's all part of the plan.
Main hands you don't need to melt because they don't have any melting slots.
That's why that's what I said.
It sounded like you said cheap.
No, they're cheat. Cheating. I like cheating.
Cheating is bad though.
Yeah, well, I'm not the one dying, so cheating is good.
24 plus 7 is
Cheating
30.
killed me.
Good. Anagramma. That's just a Ace Attorney potato. Back to learning about the new world. That was a fun meld distraction. Yes, this book is made a book. Weavre.
Sure taking a long time to turn off. There we go. Alright, it's time for bed. See you later.
See ya.
See.
Kick my feet. Papotos. I have a newfound appreciation for them, I see. Do you think we'll find Cusco's llama?
You know,
Where the talking llama went?
we might find a talking llama. Maybe he'll serve us some llama beans.
Oh, not much, Alphino. We're just going to the new continent. We didn't think we'd tell you.
We're going to the new world and you're not invited.
Screw Garlemald, shiny new thing. Those people can suck it.
You know, we're trying to think about how we can do more good for Garlemald. Maybe if we go to another country for a while.
Well, they don't know about the genocide, so that's probably going to be the excuse. They don't know about Garlean genocide, so maybe they'll be friends with you. Because you've ruined your friendships with everyone else.
It sounds like they do know a little, though.
Just a little, though. Just a little casual genocide. That's okay. It's an acceptable amount.
Just a touch.
It's Grod. Deep contemplation about. We're not gonna get more character development for him, are we?
Oh, it's just... Despite all that we've learned... What about you, my friend?
Yeah, last time we got involved in politics, it didn't work out very well.
Yeah, but also new adventure.
If only others had the same
Yeah,
good
I'd
sense.
take the adventure, leave the politics.
If the prospect troubles you, sir, why not consider what you...
See, that's what Graha's saying.
In the course of seeing new lands and meeting new people, you might find your...
He's basically saying
A brazen
abuse
plan,
abuse the
perhaps,
chance
but
for
one that
adventure.
befits a veteran
And, you know,
adventurer,
if
you
you don't
must
like
agree.
Wicklamadd, just leave. It's fine. Who's gonna stop you?
Really?
Good point.
Such a journey would be the envy of many a scholar. The experiences to be had, all the things you might hear, feel, and think. Life is a series of journeys. But what's important? Only then can we hope to be content when we arrive at...
True to yourself. Yeah,
Ah, but there's an...
I am imagining that will be the
I have a matter to
themes.
attend to at the.
Themes. Who was ourselves? Now. I'm staring at the railing. I cannot see above this railing. Yes, fine marble work.
Look, you're clearly staring in between the holes down there.
I'm staring up.
Well, fine marble work you've got there, Charlian.
Kukuru. Beans.
You have the look of someone who's... Excellent. You'll be compensated for your troubles.
You're not planning to leave without us, are you? Alphino, Alice! What are you two doing here?
We happened to cross paths at Numenon earlier, you see. And when we fortuitously met again at the Agora just...
Ah, you must be the twin.
100 things about us you could have
Toads.
First
Wow.
impressions last.
Angry Alice, eh?
'Tis an honor and a pleasure to make your acquaintance, Your Highness.
Oh no, let's not do so. You want...
Indeed we do. We've been assisting with the rebuilding effort in Garlemald. We believe there is much we might learn from Tuliolal, a nation...
The more the merrier, I say.
Having recruited so many committed and capable allies,
Nonsense. They're strong, aye, but strangers to our land. I can't think of anyone better
No, buddy
suited to
boy,
that
you
task than
must
you.
go with us.
Mandatory, buddy boy. The worst of all worlds, buddy boy and Hrothgar girl. It's our new companions.
As I recall...
Now,
Kyle,
it could be worse. Could
you
be a
were the first to
Hrothgar
state your
guy.
desire.
Yeah, but then we'd have a bunny girl.
Was.
No, we could still have a buddy boy.
Still,
be buddy boy
I
and
can't
Hrothgar
help but
guy.
worry about being away just when...
You have nothing to worry. I haven't forgotten how you held the fort while I set off to explore Alzadal's legacy. It's only fair that I return the favor.
Is
But
Graha gonna show up
Graha-
later?
I don't really know. I was a little confused.
You want to retrace your grandfather's steps, don't you?
Thank you, Raha.
Also, cute
Well,
Creel face.
Looks like it's settled.
I suppose now is a good time to show you what I spent a small fortune on at the Agora.
Oh my god, did he get a map?
I might need to get his money back, honestly.
There. This, my friends, is the latest map of the world. Create the site of your next great adventure.
Could have at least gotten a properly sized one if he's going to spend a fortune.
Are we getting credits again?
Yes. I mean, they do that every expansion, I think.
What if I skip the credits?
You would miss out on the cute character art.
We've already seen it. Or is there new cute character art?
I think there was new. I think it was new character art. I don't know. You gotta remember what the character art looked like before.
A sec. Meanwhile, back at Limsa. Limsa, these nuts.
I gotta cover a couple bases here.
May I ask your destination?
The north and east. I suppose I'll head west this time.
West, you say?
Stenian's just gonna go do what he wants.
True. Meanwhile, back at the ranch. Wait a minute, that's where I am. It seemeth I have been invited to Smash.
I see you've made up your mind. I had a feeling you'd be keen. But to think that our comrades too are thither bound. Indeed.
No, it's gonna be a three-way brawl!
If the prospect doth trouble thee, 'tis not too late to decline the petition.
Settle it and smash!
Oh, how could I possibly be?
Famcrid wants to fight.
Then let us delay no further. Aye.
She's totally just gonna show up.
We make for Toronto.
I am also here! Maybe she's part of the second stringer crew with Graha when something gets real.
Maybe.
What am I gonna?
Tiny footsteps.
Tell me, have you been to the ruins or the treasure islands beyond the frozen waters of blind frost? The fabled gold.
They're gonna milk those Emmett quotes as long as they can. So one more expansion, I think. I don't know what. I guess we've got the cultures of the civilizations of the shards. So 2 more expansions.
The Gilded Path. That was a very dark buddy. Alright,
Dark chocolate bunny.
guess I want to check what I even needed for the next step of the Crystarian thing. Brilliant Weaver components. Wait, how do I get Brilliant Weaver components?
Damn it. You probably need to do the quest to unlock the thing.
Wrongo.
Am I wrong?
I mean, I've got the quest right here. Let's just get the stuff.
Oh, then you should be able to see it on the vendor? I don't...
But I
You
can't.
only have 4 options in your thing. Wait, Brilliant Weaver's component is right there.
Oh, there it is. So it is.
You're behind a step, buddy.
I know I am.
Okay.
Shut up, buddy. I know it. So you said you can't use HQ for this?
The step you're currently doing, you can, but for the future ones, no, it just uses raw gathered materials.
So I need at least 30 of these. But you only need 20 of the next? Explain.
If you if you got the worst result on the next one, you would need 60 total, but you only need 20 if you get max on all of them.
Wait, why do I have 60 select waterproof cloth then? Am I stupid? Do I not know how to count?
Maybe you're planning to sell some of it?
I was not.
If you've already done the first step, that sounds like enough to do both of the steps for...
Oh yeah, that's probably why I did it.
But I don't know why you would still have enough if you already did 1/2 of the steps.
I haven't. I haven't done 1/2 of this patch's steps.
Waterproof cloth is the step you're on, though.
I thought it had 2 halves.
I mean, they both have 2 halves, but waterproof cloth is down a thing. That's what you need for your current stuff. Dust quart cloth is the next step.
No, because I'm gonna need to make a parasol. Or maybe I already did that? I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah, no, that was my question. I don't freaking know. I'm sure you'll sort it out. I think I'm going to Poke Doku. Or like Poke Dookie.
True. Watch a video while I do these graphs.
After the release of Ultima, Richard Garriott found himself alongside a small handful of pioneers in a new frontier. The age of the personal computer was underway, and while PCs weren't ubiquitous yet, entrepreneurs and developers saw potential in them. While there are many legendary stories to be told from this time, there's one company and the couple who founded it that are particularly relevant to the story of Ultima 2. Ken Williams was born on October 30, 1954. He was a quiet, scholarly child, escaping his less-than-ideal home life with the long hours at the library, chess club, the marching band, and any other extracurricular activity he could engage with. Throughout his childhood and teenage years, Ken held onto one goal in particular. A relatable goal, an ambiguous goal, but not necessarily an attainable goal. Ken wanted to be filthy rich. The 10-year-old Ken Williams would sit in the back of courtrooms during criminal trials, dreaming of becoming a respected lawyer. At the library, he read books about big shots and businessmen living the life he wanted for himself. Nice cars, big houses, supermodels, a materialistic vision for his future perhaps, but harmless dreams from the son of a TV repairman in a lower middle-class California neighborhood. Owing to his avoidance of home life, Ken spent a lot of time powering through his school projects and finishing his homework in a timely manner. Thanks to his discipline, he graduated high school at the tender age of 16 and immediately went off to college where he'd major in physics. An absurd work ethic, multiple side hustles, and a fondness for partying kept him wrapped up in his own world. But that's when he met Roberta. Roberta Lynn Hewer, like Ken, had been a quiet child. Unlike Ken, what occupied Roberta's time wasn't work, study, or extracurricular activities, but engaging with her own overactive imagination. She spent her childhood in Laverne, California, a quiet town with a population of around 10,000 at the time. Being the daughter of a horticulturalist and a homemaker, Roberta's life was quiet, and that suited her fine. She found escapism in stories, both reading literature and spinning yarns of her own. In high school, Roberta managed to overcome some of this shyness, but not in a way that set her family's mind at peace. She began partying and dating some men who couldn't quite meet her father's approval. That is, until she met Ken Williams. With a pack of cigarettes rolled into his shirt sleeve and a silver tongue, Ken tried to impress her with a badass facade, but Roberta's judgment of character was just too good. This guy was a geek. They fell in love and married just 5 days after Ken's 18th birthday. While Roberta had her stories, Ken began to develop a creative outlet of his own. It started in 1971 when he first glimpsed a mainframe terminal in the UCLA labs. On the screen was a strategy game based on the TV series Star Trek. Like so many young pioneers, Ken was struck by the potential of interactive experiences. He enrolled in a computer programming course, which at the time involved punching holes in cardstock, sending them to a card reader, and confirming hours later whether or not the program ran successfully. His performance in other courses suffered, but his grades in computer programming were very impressive. At this time, Roberta was pregnant with their first child. Having already been struggling with finances, it became clear that Ken would have to put school on the back burner. He dropped out, listless and unsure of how he'd proceed.
Sure, I'd like to get into the computer field, but hey, what's the hurry? I can always start my training tomorrow.
To learn how you can train to become a computer programmer, operator, or technician, call Control Data Institute now, before tomorrow passes you by.
After being fired from a factory job, an advertisement caught his eye. The Control Data Institute would turn him into a full-fledged computer programmer with only 9 months of study. The icing on the cake was the potential salary, $8,000 to $10,000 a year, equivalent to roughly $60,000 to $75,000 today. Not quite the stepping stone to millionaire life young Ken had hoped for, but with a baby on the way, compromises would have to be made. And in a newly emerging industry, who knows where this path would take him? Ken had a great experience at trade school. He felt that his fellow students and teachers were of like mind, and he excelled in his courses. He was actively involved in the birth of the modern computer industry.
I guess.
Look, you don't have to go into incognito right now. I just got pranked.
That's your secret. You're always getting pranked. that? I'm not cruelly in mine. I did misread that.
This guy's double gaming.
I've been double gaming all night. 90 mining ain't gonna mine itself, and I certainly am not gonna actively do it. I'd ideally like 92 mining, so I can mine amethyst. Amethyst. Huh? Okay, I guess I will need an incognito window. How is...
Was it grass branched?
No. Oh wait, I don't know how to read. I just don't know how to read Pokedoku.
What got you?
Just
not reading?
I just put a branched Pokemon. I was looking at the type.
Oh, that's the other. That's disgusting.
Ground grass is kind of a weird typing.
Yeah.
I can think of one line. Is there more?
There's exactly one Pokemon that isn't fake.
Oh, really? Is it just Torterra then?
Yeah, and then there's the stupid shit from Scarlet Violet.
There's an obvious answer for grass branched evolution, but that's too obvious. We have to go deeper. Okay, I have a weird question.
Alright.
Do you think it'll count for grass branch? Do you think it would count Sawsbuck and Deerling? They have different forms.
No, I would factually say it would not.
Or did you try it?
No, I tried Petalil because I remembered it had a Hisuian form.
Oh, you know what? I think I thought of the fakest Fakemon thing. It's gonna be Diplin.
Yeah, you need the Fakemon for your option there, because everyone else remembers Gloom.
Yeah. Or
I think those are the only two options.
It could be Applin or Diplin, I think.
What's a Diplin?
The stupid dipped apple Pokemon. Or no, I guess only the baby Applin is the.
Yeah, the pre-Evo is what counts.
Yeah, but I thought it double branched.
That would be something.
Well, I wouldn't put it past.
I know you're right, honestly.
Hoenn bugs. What's a Hoenn bug nobody ever thinks of, nobody expects? Oh, I mean, I guess it's got to be this Pokemon. What's it called? I can't think of its original form. What evolves into Masquerain? It's like the Skitterbug. Oh,
it's
Skirskit. Yeah. This is the one. 6.5%. I'll take it.
That is not the lowest, by the way.
What is the lowest?
Anorith at 3.4.
Okay, yeah, that's pretty much fake. Yeah,
well, so you forgot to metagame Nincada's lower than Surskit at 4.2. Because everyone had to put it in bug ground.
No, they didn't if they were smart.
Your other option is Wormadam.
I used Wormadam.
Your other option is Wormadam, and how do you feel using it?
Pretty good. I
also used Wormadam, but still.
It's too metagamed. Everything's too metagamed. This game sucks.
It is. I want to say one of my other picks was like horribly metagamed. Yeah, the fucking water branched was metagamed to hell.
Yeah. There ain't no way.
Channel 1 is too obvious. No one will remember Oh.
Appleton is at least the least common branched.
Yeah, but it's also one of two options.
Dude, also, if we're speaking of branched evolution, we should not count Nincada because it doesn't branch. It's both. You get both. I didn't think that would count at all. Why should that count?
Yeah, well, despite basically being a complete different Pokemon, Lilligant Hisui doesn't count because it's a form. I guess it has to evolve into a differently named Pokemon, which is... it's nonsense. It's entirely nonsense.
This card game is a load of bollocks.
Because you're right, Nincada's not really a branch.
No, it's not at all a branch. A branch implies you have to choose. You do not choose. You get both. It's a weird scenario. It evolves into both.
Yeah.
I'm guessing I need a lot of Arcane Velvet for the various things. I guess I'll go mine a bunch.
Decent amount. As I recall, Magna using gets was the like most used item in everything for that step. I recall needing some 800 plus ore or something.
After graduating, he spent 6 years in a number of different working environments. All in all, he changed jobs at
I am
least
impressed
14
Nuzleaf is that
times.
low.
He learned a lot about the
An
various
Oasis. Nobody
emerging
remembers
types
that
of
Pokemon.
technology in the industry, and he
Yeah,
provided
but
his
Nuzlocke
family
was a
with a
thing.
stable income.
Yeah, but nobody
Throughout his
knows what that
experiences,
means.
though, Ken found those
Good
old
point.
dreams of prosperity creeping back into his mind.
I figured
By the
I
late
figured all of
70s,
the
Roberta
early late
herself
grass
was
types would
becoming
be
a competent
obvious for
programmer. She
Hoenn.
understood a fair bit about the complexities of computers purely by osmosis. The home computer market was finding its footing at the time, and the couple saw an opportunity. After several
Somehow
more years of
Cacturn was
job
also
hopping,
the lowest
Ken
in that
settled on a job at the
slot
Children's
still.
Hospital of Los
That's
Angeles. Here he was given a teletype and an acoustic modem which allowed him to connect remotely to MIT's mainframe. He excitedly looked for the Star Trek
Slowpoke being
game
the
that
lowest
he'd seen
branched
years
water
ago,
Evo
but
is
to no
freaking
avail.
stupid.
Instead, he found a game with a simple text interface presenting him with a scene.
Also
You are
nice try
standing
with
at
the
end
Mega
of a road
Swampert.
before a small brick building.
But you
Around
didn't go
is a
water ground
forest.
enough.
A small stream flows out of the building
I
and
thought
down a
Mega.
gully.
Mega.
Yes, but
didn't sit
nobody
with-
knows what the hell a Palpitoad is.
I wrote Seismitoad first, but then I was like, well, Mega just wins, right? So, Mega just wins. Even though I lost, I really won, because Megas always win.
Ken stood there, likely thinking the same thought that many in this
No
situation
one's effing
would
seen a
think.
Palpitoad before.
So what? There were no instructions, no graphic interfaces, just a description of a place he'd have to imagine in his mind's eye. At a loss, he typed the
Wait,
word
Swampert
pet
is most
and
common
was
now, but
instructed
Marshtomp
in the
is
plan
least
of the
common
game.
for water ground.
A
Please
game that
explain.
inspired an entire generation of developers, Richard Garriott included. The game was Colossal Cave Adventure. While the text adventure certainly piqued Ken's interest, it was Roberta who found herself downright enraptured by it. The game, which is now considered to be one of the most influential ever made, was right at the crossroads of Roberta's various interests. It was a story that demanded the use of one's imagination, playable on a home computer, and you, the player, dictated the flow and outcome. Roberta became quite taken with text adventure games in general, eventually feeling compelled to propose an idea. While at dinner, Roberta told Ken that she wanted to make an adventure game. The concept for this involved uncovering clues, finding treasure, and unmasking a killer in a classic murder mystery. To quote Ken, Roberta was a woman on a mission, and when Roberta wants something, the only thing to do is get out of her way. They wrestled with technical hurdles, but Ken, being a shrewd and inventive programmer, was able to implement actual graphics by way of simple pictures. This was an unexpected boon that helped the game stand out among other text-based adventures. With Roberta's instinct for game design and Ken's ability to put her ideas on screen, the two eventually released Mystery House in May of 1980. The game was programmed on and for the Apple II, a computer in which the Williamses saw the future. It was an instant hit, with computer stores near and far calling Ken and Roberta asking for more copies. They quickly developed an infrastructure for distribution and got to work making more software. Online Systems, which would come to be known as Sierra Online, was born. With Roberta at the designing helm and Ken dealing with programming, Sierra produced several profitable games in sequence, including some more interesting ventures. The Sierra name became synonymous with ambition and creativity among gamers, and among young programmers, it became known as the place that you wanted to work. Ken and Roberta hired many young, bright-eyed programmers. This was the first generation whose formative years were steeped in computer expertise, and now they were hungry for success.
One thing that scares me is all these kids that are like 13 or 14 that are going to computer camps right now, right? They're going to be pretty computer literate by the time they get to be 20 or 25. Where does that leave me?
Rather than having a traditional office where their employees would clock in at 9 and leave at 5, Sierra would act as a veritable compound. Employees would be given the option of having their own dormitories, creating a family atmosphere where everyone wanted the best for each other and the company. For a software company that did things differently than almost any other, few aspects about Sierra were quite as unique as its structure. So what happens when you mix a group of college-aged individuals in a dormitory-esque setting with a couple who were seeing more money in a few months than they'd collectively seen over their whole lifetimes? You get parties, you get liquor, you get drugs. It was the 80s, and Sierra's output was pretty insane, so I'm guessing cocaine, but that's just speculation. The Friday afternoon parties at Sierra's compound were known far and wide. They'd periodically receive visits from industry icons like Steve Wozniak, or celebrities like Richard Kiel, who'd played the James Bond villain Jaws. There was a rockstar ethos surrounding the culture of the computer game industry back then, and the Williamses relished it. For all the wild parties, the work ethic at Sierra didn't suffer one bit. Their games were fresh and innovative, and their development cycles were efficient. This reflected in the company's astronomical growth over a 3-year period. They were constantly looking for new talent and bold ideas to help bolster Sierra's good name. And that's where Richard Garriott comes in. Richard, fresh off his success with Ultima, was searching for a publisher to meet his unique demands. Though he was no Richard Kiel, he was becoming recognizable in the still niche space of computer RPGs. He met with Ken and Roberta in 1982, looking to produce a sequel to Ultima. The couple were more than happy to court the young developer. Garriott agreed to join Sierra only under certain conditions. First of all, he was to be given complete creative freedom in Ultima 2's story and design. Next, he wanted to be paid a much larger royalty than he'd been given at his previous publisher, California Pacific. Finally, he didn't want his games released in Ziploc bags like a child selling Twinkies out of their locker. He wanted his games to be packaged in durable, board game style boxes. These would include cloth maps depicting the game's world, all with quality and size of his choosing. Who did this kid think he was? No publisher in their right mind would agree to these demands. It was extremely uncommon to see PC games in any but the barest minimum packaging. The cost of goods associated with manufacturing games was meant to be just that, the games. Big boxes adorned with colorful art and high-quality cloth maps would have greatly increased the overhead of the product. And to what effect? At the end of the day, it was the games that the consumers were buying. It wasn't uncommon to see gamers throw their boxes away after unsealing the contents back then. It was seen as a pointless expenditure, but Richard stood his ground. He proved a formidable negotiator, and Sierra agreed to his terms. Despite the lack of pragmatism in his demands, Sierra was looking to set themselves apart creatively. Maybe there was something to his obsession with presentation. That Sierra had more money than it knew what to do with was just icing on the cake. Garriott would be given his creative freedom, his royalties, and his maps. In exchange, Sierra would retain the rights to Ultima 1 should the nearly defunct California Pacific be willing to part with it. And they were. This would lead to a Sierra re-release titled Ultima 1, the original, a profitable venture which put even more eyes on the series. Now, as mentioned, to believe that the aesthetic of software packaging should have care and thought placed into it was not a commonly held sentiment at the time. Garriott, owing to his admiration of works by Tolkien and C.S. Lewis, figured that the creation of a world was the sum of many parts. A handmade map can say so much about the universe it relates to. Not only can it depict the geography of the world itself, but context clues regarding its culture, and even mysteries surrounding the Cartographers themselves. Elements such as these maps, small books about a game's lore, and manuals penned from the perspective of an in-world citizen would all create a tangible reflection of the game's universe. In short, these feelies, as the included big box goodies would come to be known, made the world of a game feel real, as though it existed outside of itself. At this time, games were developed on a conveyor belt, meant to be consumed, and then you'd buy the next one. But this sense of lore would allow games, like literature, to feel evergreen. Shared experiences would be relevant long after a game's release, their worlds and inhabitants the subject of discussion by like-minded enthusiasts. Production costs increased, but the impression feelies would leave on players would itself be of tremendous value. The included maps and goodies would become a staple of the Ultima series. Big box PC games, as we know them, were popularized at least in part due to the obstinance of one skinny kid who wasn't yet old enough to drink. Garriott commenced work on Ultima's sequel immediately, and with that came a difficult but necessary decision. The basic programming language in which Garriott was proficient was bottlenecking his ability to do the things he wanted to do. Ultima had released in a somewhat patchwork state. He knew that if he wanted the sequel to realize its potential, he'd have to learn assembly language. This would prove troublesome. During this period, Richard was attending university, and there was an inverse correlation between his income at home and his grades at school. One of the classes he was attending was a programming course for assembly language, which seems like a perfect fit, doesn't it? Well, it was actually a huge problem. To understand why, it's worth noting that assembly actually refers to many potential different instruction sets. These instruction sets reflect the type of processor being programmed for. For instance, Richard's classes were teaching him how to code in Assembly 6809. During those late nights after school, he'd use Assembly 6502 while working on Ultima 2. The language was principally the same, meaning he was able to apply his education to the development of Ultima 2. And yet, due to that similarity, he was making granular but noticeable formatting mistakes in his schoolwork. His programs ran, but they weren't efficient, and that cost him big marks. I'll explain it the way my math teacher explained it to me when I was in 12th grade. Forget flying colors, you're just not passing. Richard came to understand that he simply wouldn't be able to code Ultima 2 while attending classes. 2.5 years into his education, he dropped out of the University of Texas and devoted himself entirely to the development of Ultima. His parents were, understandably, quite upset. There was a high level of education in the Garriott family, with Richard's siblings all having graduated post-secondary. His brother Robert, in particular, was working on his second master's degree, which made Richard's decision look even more hasty to his parents. Eventually, they acquiesced and allowed him to pursue what was undeniably a fulfilling and increasingly lucrative prospect for Richard. They agreed to accept his decision as long as he promised to go back to school when the game industry inevitably ceased to exist. To quote Richard Garriott as of several years ago, "I'm still waiting." While Richard is often seen as the sole designer, programmer, and writer in these first few Ultima games, it's important to acknowledge that he's always had help. Like Ken Arnold did on the first Ultima, Tom Lures served as a seasoned helper on Ultima 2. Lures was an ex-coworker of Garriott's, having worked with him at California Pacific. With a background in assembly language, he would act as a mentor, guiding Garriott away from the trappings of BASIC and making him lean into assembly. In addition to Lures, Garriott enlisted the help of several friends and associates. Ken Arnold came back, along with Chuck Boucher, one of Richard's first D&D buddies, and his old neighbor, Keith Zabalawi. With his future contingent on the success of Ultima 2, Richard's leadership skills were put to the test. His hard work and enthusiasm proved infectious, and they worked around the clock until, on August 24, 1982, Ultima 2, The Revenge of the Enchantress was released by Sierra Online. Like the first game, Ultima 2 was developed for Apple II computers. At their core, the first two games share more DNA than any other numbered entries in the entire Ultima series. Graphically, the games are comparable, with the second game reusing many tiles and sharing many limitations. Mercifully, the animated water in the IBM version has been altered to not make your eyes explode out of your head when you look at it. Both games are totally absent any kind of music, and the scant few sound effects are identical. Gameplay-wise, most changes are subtle, with character creation, combat, and exploration acting in much the same way. Where Ultima 1 and 2 tread different paths is in their structure, in the kind of games they're trying to be. But before that, a brief note about the ports. For the most part, we get the expected smattering of differences between platforms. The Atari 800 version looks almost identical to the Apple II. The Commodore 64 version features full-color graphics rather than the black backdrops of other versions. The FM Towns Marty version continues to punch so far above its weight that it's not really a fair comparison. I tell you, anyone who owned a Marty back in the day was the toast of the town. Like with Ultima 1, the version that we'll largely be looking at is the one available from GOG, the IBM PC port. Unlike the first game, there are a few things that really hold the unmodified IBM version back. Richard Garriott was not a fan of IBM PCs, but his contract with Sierra stipulated the right to port Ultima 2 to this platform. On a surface level, the IBM allowed for a maximum of 4 colors to be displayed. This gave the game an uncharacteristically dark and dreary palette, even compared to the technically limited Apple II. Underneath that surface, the game is being held together by masking tape and prayers. It's prone to divide by zero errors, which in layman's terms is the computer's way of saying, "Help, help me, something is going horribly wrong." Its frame rate was also uncapped, leading to problems, its maps were broken, and it required a whole reinstall if you wanted to make a new character, just to name a few issues. You may be asking yourself, why are we playing this version that's so obviously inferior? The answer to that is the Ultima 2 upgrade patch. This patch, which was created by Voyager Dragon all the way back in 2001, not only brings the IBM version up to parity with others, it makes this version the ideal way to play the game. In addition to myriad bug fixes, the patch allows the user to choose from a number of graphical upgrade options. I've chosen the 16-color EGA, bringing it in line with the Ultima 1 PC port that I've covered. This alone makes the experience much more enjoyable. With our version selected, there's nothing left to do but boot up the game and give it a go. As with its predecessors, Ultima 2's story is dictated to us by a section in the instruction manual. Having now slain the evil wizard Mondain, the people of Earth are free to enjoy a generation of peace. Yet rumors abounded of it. Wait, hold on a second. Earth? The last game took place in Sosaria, and now we're talking about Earth? People have jumped through a lot of hoops trying to make sense of this discrepancy, but I don't know. I just don't see mention of Sosaria anywhere, not in the manual and not in the game. Perhaps like real-world mythology, legends commingled with real events and became a muddled mess of different interpretations. Maybe they just figured nobody would think that hard about it. Whatever the case, Ultima 2 takes place on Earth, or at least a fantastical representation of it. Mondain's apprentice, an enchantress named Minax, has spent the years since Ultima 1 gaining power until, in the year 2111, she eliminated life itself in a nuclear firestorm. You play as the Stranger, a person of seemingly no significance who managed to escape Minax's devastation by slipping into a mysterious time gate. This gate sends our hero back through history, giving them a chance to aid Lord British in the defeat of Minax and save the world once again. As with the original, the game begins with character creation. The options available are pretty much the same, but there is a greater significance to your choices. In the original game, differences between the 4 classes were largely insignificant. Here, they changed the game in noticeable ways. The fighter is given a more significant stat boost than any other class, with a plus 15 out of a possible 99 for strength. However, the fighter cannot cast spells, full stop. Ultima 1 allowed any class to cast spells, barring certain advanced abilities. Now, the previously desirable, if not altogether necessary, spells, such as Ladder Up and Ladder Down, aren't available to everyone. You'll have to get through dungeons the old-fashioned way, by falling through the floor and screaming like the rest of us plebs. The Cleric, on the other hand, is built for dungeon crawling. In addition to Ladder Up and Ladder Down, the Cleric has several unique abilities for use in dungeons only. Pass Wall, a spell borrowed from D&D, destroys the wall in front of you, allowing you to circumvent obstacles. Surface instantly teleports you out of a dungeon. No fuss, no mess, just leave. Prayer is also a little bit less random in Ultima 2, now acting as a 50% chance to simply kill the enemy in front of you. The Wizard is functionally similar to the Cleric, with a different list of usable spells. Magic Missile is a reliable source of solid damage. Blink will teleport you randomly somewhere on the same dungeon level, which just sounds horrible. Why would you want that? Finally, the Kill spell is what it sounds like. It kills. It is expensive though, so it's not easily abused. The real downside of these spells is that they can only be used in dungeons, which really diminishes their usefulness in the game. Finally, there's the Thief, a jack of no trades and a master of even fewer. A thief is less likely to be caught stealing. That's about the size of it. It's not a totally valueless trait, but thieves are easily outclassed by the others, so they're mostly relegated to challenge runs or role-playing if that's your thing. Once again, you select your name, sex, and race. I'm all about the Bobbits, which are now back to being called Hobbits. I don't think there's a solitary line of plot-related dialogue in either of these first two games, and I'm already struggling to keep up with the lore. Hobbit it is. The game begins as all good fantasy RPGs do, with your character walking around Duluth, Minnesota. Hey, like I said, Ultima 2 takes place on Earth, which means the world map is comprised of some familiar places. I wonder what Manitoba's like. Well, this sucks. While having a map of the entire world sounds a little intimidating, the size and scope of Ultima 2's map is pretty manageable. There's only a small number of towns, dungeons, and other landmarks, especially compared to the first game. There's reasons for that, which we'll talk more about later. Despite the relatively small world map, there's something going on underneath the game's surface that greatly expands the complexity of exploring: time travel. Ultima 1 ended with the protagonist going back in time to defeat Mondain, but the role time travel plays in the actual gameplay has been greatly expanded in Ultima 2. You begin the game in 1423 BC. It largely resembles the world we know, with a few exceptions, such as a land bridge allowing access to Eurasia from Alaska. The game essentially gives you no direction in the beginning. Fair game. I mean, we just popped out of a mysterious time door from thousands of years in the future. Speaking of time doors, these are your ticket to other periods of history. Walking around, engaging in combat, or simply standing still will all cause time to pass. This affects the movement of enemies and NPCs, the depletion of your food stockpile, and also the appearance of time doors. Stumbling across these time doors will seem somewhat random at first. You might just be making your way to a town when suddenly a mysterious square appears. You try to ignore it, but something about the square is calling your name. Come on, touch the square. Don't you want to know what happens? So you do, and then you get stranded on an island with no way back. Or so it seems. Wait long enough and a time gate will appear on the island as well. It'll seem like the only way to understand where and when the time gates lead is a matter of trial and error, but that's not actually the case. Beyond being a cool piece of memorabilia, the cloth map serves a pragmatic purpose. In the instruction manual, there's a page showing 5 different symbols and explaining what each one means. There's this symbol, representing a time before recorded history when the world was comprised of one continent, Pangaea. This symbol corresponds to 1423 BC, while this indicates 1990 AD. There's the Aftermath period, a post-nuclear hellscape with the world literally shattered into pieces. Finally, there's the Time of Legends, a place outside of space-time and a pocket in which Minax's strength is at its highest. These runes and their descriptions may come across as esoteric flavor text, but take a closer look at your cloth map and you'll find it dotted with pairs of these symbols connected via lines. These represent where you'll find time gates in-game. The first of the 2 symbols indicates the time period in which you'll find the time gate. For example, this one will be found in 1423 BC. The second symbol shows the time period in which you'll end up, 1990 AD here. Finally, the line shows the point at which the time gate will spit you out. It's an extremely helpful and clever way to tie the in-game mechanics with the real-world goodies from your game box. Having to reference the map and plan your routes really does make the game feel like an adventure through space and time. This is especially true because, unlike Ultima 1, locations in Ultima 2 are sparse but more meaningfully tied to the story and your progression. No longer are there 1,000 forgettable towns made up of one screen, but a small selection of fully explorable cities that you'll be visiting again and again. Cobblestone roads guide the player to and from the city's various establishments. NPCs will have unique dialogue depending on their type. It is what it is, but it's unique dialogue. And there are different types of NPCs, fighters, guards, clerics. You can actually identify the kind of person you're speaking to, which is a massive step up. Please, I have a family to feed. Hey, this guy is pretty funny. Outside of the towns, various other aspects of the game have been innovated or expanded upon. Weapons have stat requirements now, making playing a fighter and investing in strength feel like a worthwhile path to take. Enemies can target specific body parts in battle, leaving you temporarily immobilized or unable to attack. It's mostly just really annoying, but it's cool that it's there. There are even items and layers of protection that help prevent status ailments, such as boots preventing leg paralysis. Of course, there's also the time gates, which just expand the overall scale and feeling of adventure here to a significant degree. Not every change made in Ultima 2 benefits the game though, and some affect it outright adversely. On the mixed end of things, the importance of dungeon crawling is seriously diminished. In Akalabeth and Ultima 1, dungeon crawling was the meat and potatoes of the entire game. You'd receive quests to kill certain monsters and be sent into one of the game's many maze-like dungeons to hunt down and kill your target. It was necessary in order to complete those games. In Ultima 2, not only do you not have to set foot in a dungeon even once, it's actually a mostly inefficient way to get things done. Aside from the FM Towns Marty version, which has a necessary item located in dungeons, Marty reigns supreme. No longer do you gain bonus hit points for killing enemies in dungeons. Now, the only way to increase your HP is to visit the castle of Lord British and pay him 50 gold. This is in some sense the game's way of leveling up. There are experience points in Ultima 2, and your character will level up once you reach 100, but it's pretty much just nominal. The only function leveling up serves is acting as a general marker for your progress, and doesn't seem to have any noticeable impact on the game itself. The main method of character advancement in this game is actually maliciously cryptic. In the year 1423, you'll find various establishments such as weapon stores, taverns, chapels, the usual fantasy fare. In the year 1990 AD, things are different. You'll still find weapon or armor stores selling the same gear, but you'll also find a McDonald's. McDonald's. Remember how YOLO the Bard sang Ho Yo He Hum in the last Ultima game? Well, in Ultima 2, Ronald McDonald sings, "Try our new ride-through." Oh my god, it actually has a ride-through. Ultima 2 takes the cultural references and overall weirdness of Ultima 1 and cranks it up to a fever pitch. In order to level up your character's stats, you'll have to head to New San Antonio in the year 1990. Here you'll find the Hotel California. Speaking to the clerk yields no rewards, but pressing O to offer him money will give you a chance to raise a single stat. In the original unpatched games, the stat raised would be random, and there was a chance that no stats would raise at all. If you accidentally raised a stat past 99, it would reset to 0, forcing you to start again. It's hilariously obtuse, and I mean completely insane. The Hotel California, isn't it enough for that to be one of the 3 songs my dad has on his shop radio all the time? I don't play Ultima to be reminded of the fucking Eagles, man. Now, some of the zanier elements adjacent to the original game make a bit more sense contextually. Aircrafts, rockets, and phasers feel less out of place when the world is covered in time portals. The truth is that the cloth map, time travel, and general zaniness of Ultima 2 were actually the product of inspiration. Around the time that Ultima 1 was released, Richard Garriott became a big fan of Terry Gilliam's 1981 sci-fi fantasy film, Time Bandits. The plot of the film centers around a young boy named Kevin who, along with 6 dwarves, is sent on an adventure through history. The group find their way into different time periods by using an ethereal map, marking the location of holes in the fabric of space-time. Sounds kinda familiar, no? It's no coincidence that both the movie and the game have a location called the Time of Legends. Ultima's identity wouldn't be crystallized for some time, which leaves the first few entries, especially Ultima 2, feeling truly unique in comparison. It was clear that Richard didn't really know what kind of world Ultima was supposed to be, or if it had even survived long enough for another sequel. He was throwing ideas at the wall and seeing what would stick. It culminates here in a game that's outrageously creative and bizarre on paper. But not one that's necessarily fun to play. As mentioned before, Ultima 1 and 2 would tread different paths in terms of their structure. In Ultima 1, you're given a level of freedom in how you approach your goals, but you have a set list of goals nonetheless. Talk to kings, complete quests, collect the gems, etc. Ultima 2's goals are mechanically simpler, but require more investment from the player. Aspects like weapons and armor having stat requirements would be an example. There's also changes made to vehicles. In the original, it was a simple matter of having enough money. Well, and a vacuum suit if you didn't want your head to explode after reaching space. In Ultima 2, you can buy a horse with money, but acquiring all other vehicles has become more complex. To pilot a boat, you'll need to walk around fighting enemies until a pirate ship spawns and heads to the shoreline. From there, you can enter the ship only on the condition that you own blue tassels. In order to get blue tassels, you need to fight human enemies until you get lucky and one of them drops the item. Upon commandeering a ship, tassels are consumed, so ideally you already know what you're gonna do with the boat. However, boats you've stolen persist through the game, so if you leave a time period and come back, you'll find it waiting in the same spot. Stealing the plane is similar, and in fact, it's the first of few major quests in the game. You'll need the plane in order to reach a specific area, and there's only one accessible, in the new San Antonio hangar. So you reach the hangar. Now what? Well, you need keys to open doors. How do you get keys? You kill guards. Guards will always drop keys upon their death. How do you kill guards? Well, it's a combination of health, equipment, and good old-fashioned luck. How do you get health? You pay Lord British. How do you get money to pay him? You fight enemies for gold, only you'll need to constantly use that money to top up your health and food in order to fight more enemies. You can make fighting more efficient by having higher stats or better equipment. How do you get higher stats? You need money. How do you get better equipment? You need money. What's the best way to get money? Having stats, more health, and better equipment. This is the vicious circle of Ultima 2. Were the quest presented in a similar framework to Ultima 1, the game would be 25 minutes long, but that's not the case here. You need optimal stats and maximal health. Money rules Ultima 2's runtime. It is everything in this game. You can find equipment in deeper levels of dungeons, but it's an ineffective way of gathering resources unless you're playing a spellcaster. That ladder up and ladder down spell really changes everything. You need to spend money to make money in Ultima 2, so character advancement is incremental. As the game goes on, you'll develop strategies to just corral enemies into lines and eliminate as many of them as possible.
Clumsy bludgeoning, please!
You have selected clumsy bludgeoning.
So as I was saying, we need to break this airplane out of its hangar. Getting in requires keys, and actually starting the plane itself requires a different resource called the Skull Key. It works the same way tassels do for ships. Once you have the plane, it's home free, right? No. The new San Antonio Customs office is packed full of guards waiting to throw your ass out of the plane and knock you senseless. This is why everyone is such a stickler about taxes. They need to keep a dozen 1930s strongmen on payroll for just such an occasion. So you'll need a massive health pool before even attempting this plane heist. Guards are some of the toughest enemies in the game. Finally, once you make it out of town, you're free to fly around. Okay, I can't move. While talking about Ultima 1, I mentioned that the game's control scheme is really spread out to simulate all the different actions one can take. This is even more so the case in Ultima 2, which has a separate command for every single letter key on the keyboard. Some commands like J to jump are functionally useless. You just use it if you really want to imagine your character jumping. Anyway, rather than just hopping in your vehicle and cruising away, now you actually have to launch your plane.
I gotta find a new shooting star. The Milky Way.
Your shooting star is dead. Get Ed Sheeran in here.
It is dead. Sounds like 534. Voila! Another star. I better press it.
As you'll be moving it around on
falling
its wheels,
star. I
unable
better
to pass
get
terrain,
hit by it.
trees, and water. As obnoxious as it is to sometimes have all of these different commands, I appreciate the consistency and realism Garriott was grounding this.
Alright, what if I played some Talos before it got too late?
That makes sense. I'll probably
This
finish up
absurd
these
game
prereq
will
quests.
end,
and
but
then
certain context-sensitive
stop
commands
myself.
sharing a key wouldn't have been the end of the world. Dungeons are dark and must be illuminated with torches via the I key, or a light spell if you're a mage. Pressing the P key simulates the passage of time, allowing you to speed up the arrival of time gates, for instance. If you have a magical helmet, pressing the V key allows you to have a bird's eye view of your current location. There's much more going on under the hood, which is likely a result of the increased fidelity offered by assembly language. However, rather than expanding on certain fundamental aspects from the first game, many of them have been pared out altogether. As mentioned, dungeons take on a much less important role. They're mechanically very similar to both Ultima 1 and Akalabath, acting as a black wireframe maze in which to find items and slay monsters. The key difference is that Ultima 2's dungeons aren't procedurally generated based on a seed. They're all handmade, which you'll especially notice if you make your own grid-based map, as I did here. Ultima 2 also doesn't feature quests from kings as the first game did. The only king in the game is Lord British himself, and the only quests available are those organically tied to the story. You're left to uncover these on your own, piecing things together with tips from a bartender or dialogue from certain townspeople. It's a shame because even the simple hunt a monster style quests the series had been doing up till this point really would have done a lot for the game's variety. There's also no more landmarks to find, and the Space A segment from the first game has all but disappeared, but more on that shortly. These first two Ultima games tiptoe into a story-based direction, but despite the increased focus on dialogue, it's really easy to lose sight of what your goal is. For most of the game, poverty is the real enemy. If you didn't own an instruction manual, you likely wouldn't even know who the Enchantress from the game's title is. Once you have the plane, you can fly around to previously inaccessible landmasses in each era. You'll learn of a powerful ring, a father whose blessing must be earned, and a mysterious Planet X. None of it will make a lick of sense, and you'll spend most of the game wandering aimlessly and hoping for some direction. However, with our newfound ability to take to the skies, we can navigate the destroyed Aftermath era with ease. Touching down in Europe, you'll find the last bastion of resistance, the Pirates' Harbor. Having been built atop the ruins of the Soviet Union, you can find familiar sights such as the Red Square, Red Magic, and Red Lobster. Okay, Richard, you know what? There's such a thing as having too much fun, okay? We're rapidly approaching that point. Speaking of fun, there are several state-sanctioned jesters who appear to be having a bad time. Don't worry, Chuckles. It'll be over soon. Unlike the first game, where we could just purchase a shuttle at any transportation store, space travel is a bit harder to come by in Ultima 2. We have to rely on the Soviet space program. This means kicking down the door, slaughtering every guard in the city, and stealing their rocket ship. Just don't forget your space-proof power armor, or you'll die instantly. So the Space Ace saga from the original is considerably different here. There's no ship-to-ship combat, no manual piloting of the spacecraft, and no arranging yourself in the correct orientation to hit hyperspace. The only visual indication that you're in space is the star screen. From here, you're prompted to punch in 3 coordinates, a Xeno, Yakko, and Zabo number. Coordinates for every planet are located in the instruction manual, and since the game takes place on Earth, the planets available are all those from our own solar system. In Ultima 2, you can finally live out your childhood dreams of landing your shuttle on a gas giant. Just note that when the game says press any key to land, it means land where your ship currently is, so make sure you're, not over water. Unless you're on Mercury, in which case, even land is a poor idea, apparently. You can visit the village of the Preppies located on Jupiter to eat a Preppy Izod burger? Or Neptune's computer camp, which bears a striking resemblance to the Sierra compound with noticeably less liquor, and also goblins for some reason. There's a building here called Poor Debbie's Pool. Between that and the Preppy Izod burgers, I feel like the entire space adventure is just like one big inside joke that I'm being the privilege of witnessing, if not understanding. Don't worry, I wouldn't forget about everyone's favorite planet. I'm talking, of course, about Pluto. What's this? I'm getting word that since Ultima 2's release, Pluto has had its planet status revoked. I guess instead we'll have to touch down on Uranus, home of the town of New Jester. I wonder why they call it that. Well, hey there, fellas. What's going on? Oh, for the love of God, somebody start the ship. Somebody send out the clowns! After having enough fun to last a lifetime, we can finally head to Planet X. On this mysterious planet, you'll find the Castle Barataria. For some reason or another, you need the blessing of one Father Antos, who awaits you somewhere in the castle. With Queen Susan's blessing, Susan is a funny name for the queen of a Planet X, alright? Anyway, despite her blessing, you still need to slash and stab your way through the castle, slaughtering guards until you find Father Antos, who says, "You have earned my blessing. Return and claim the ring." I just can't help but notice the bulk of Ultima 2's quests involve the wanton killing of people just doing their job. I guess you could say that the depiction of in-game morality wasn't very high on the priority list. Not yet, anyway. As I mentioned, the Time of Legends is a period in which the Enchantress was biding her time and developing her power, so finding her in this epoch is a sure thing. The problem is that her castle is heavily guarded not only by some very tough enemies, but also by an impassable barrier. Impassable for all but the one who bears the force field ring. In order to find this ring, you must first accept Father Antos' blessing, and then find the person in New San Antonio who currently holds the ring. Apparently it's an old man underneath a tree. Are you fucking kidding me, Richard? You offer the old man 500 gold, take hold of the ring, and head off to the Time of Legend. But hold it. You'll need the best equipment, maximum health, and stats as high as they can be without resetting back to 0. This likely means some pre-endgame grinding, and if that wasn't exciting enough, you actually can't even damage the Enchantress with standard weapons. You need a special blade called the Quick Sword. How does one acquire this Quick Sword? You go back to New San Antonio and start killing guards again. Instead of busting into the hangar, you're breaking into the city prison, although it's customary to steal the plane again, just for the hell of it. This prison is populated with a number of nameless, faceless bad guys, except for one. Santre the Swashbuckler warns you, beware, I've a quick blade. It's down to you, the player, to intuitively know that you've got to press O and offer him 500 gold, at which point he'll give you the quick sword. It also requires a minimum 49 agility to wield, so stat advancement via the equally cryptic Hotel California level up system is non-optional regardless of your class. Eventually you make it to Minax's fortress. One of the enemies here is completely invincible, which forces you to use a particular item called the Strange Coin. Using this causes a time negation effect, allowing you to circumvent monsters frozen in place while you hunt down the teleporting enchantress. This might be the most interesting thing that Ultima 2 actually does with its combat. Here you have to think carefully about your movement, avoiding the invulnerable monster and making a break for it while negation is active, hurting it and other monsters around impassable walls while you survive by the skin of your teeth. As long as you have the quicksword in hand, you'll eventually strike down Minax. Time itself changes to reflect your victory, the destruction of the future is stopped, and the world is saved once again. That was Ultima 2. Speaking frankly, there's a lot of bullshit in Ultima 2. Simply navigating the adventure requires you to make a lot of assumptions. Some of the puzzling elements of the game are covered in the manual or hinted at with dialogue in-game, but there's not nearly enough feedback to make sense of it all. I get the distinct impression that Garriott wasn't necessarily intending to have everyone finish the game per se, not with these first few entries. In the original Apple II release, there's no way to increase your character's strength, making space travel impossible unless you build your character in a specific way. For such an oversight to slip past seems to indicate that Garriott saw the meat of the game as just mucking around, killing monsters, doing dungeons, stealing food from stalls, just role-playing as you would with a group of D&D buddies on a Saturday night. The problem with that, perhaps more obvious with 40 years of hindsight, is that the core gameplay itself isn't interesting enough to hold Ultima 2 together. The variety in activities helps alleviate the boredom, but it's hard to imagine many players back in '82 making it far enough to experience the prison break or interplanetary exploration. You're often just too busy trying to make enough money to not die. It very much feels like a game you're intended to spend a lot of time with until you accidentally stumble across plot progressions. It's hard to look past how dumbfounding that makes the game feel these days, even in comparison to Ultima 1. It's no surprise that the second game is seldom cited as a fan favorite, to say the least. Still, it's not accurate to say that this game didn't do anything for Ultima, or games in general. It's an incredibly important product, full of impressive advancements over its predecessor. The cities are large and explorable, populated with unique institutions full of NPCs with dialogue. From the locations to the changes made to vehicles, to the fact that the game now features interplanetary exploration rather than just floating through infinite space. Ultima 2 feels like a more intimate experience than the first. It feels like a handcrafted adventure, something from which shared experiences could be had. A game brimming with personality